The premium you have been building may not be the premium the enterprise now wants to pay for. Many six-figure professionals have spent years becoming polished, responsive, articulate, and dependable under normal conditions. That still matters. But in a growing number of U.S. companies, the stronger premium is shifting towards something less visible in peacetime and much more valuable when the downside rises. It is not polished output, it is trust under pressure. That distinction matters because most careers are still optimized for low-pressure competence. Clean decks, fast replies, structured thinking, executive tone, and calm meeting behavior can all create the appearance of seniority. In normal operating conditions, that appearance often holds. The problem comes when ambiguity, liability, reputational exposure, and time pressure arrive together. Then the enterprise starts sorting people very differently, and many output-strong professionals discover that polish and pressure-worthiness are not priced the same way. The mechanism is reputational asymmetry. For a senior leader, choosing the wrong polished person for a fragile situation can become a career-damaging mistake. Choosing the steadier person, even if less charismatic, is often a career-saving move. That is why trust under pressure carries a premium. Leaders are not just selecting who can perform, they're selecting whom they can afford to be wrong about when a bad outcome would travel upward fast. Think about a concrete case. A company is facing a regulatory gray area, an ugly operational incident, or a sensitive client escalation with incomplete facts and real downside. At that point, nobody is asking who usually writes the cleanest summary. The live question is, who can interpret messy inputs, contain noise, escalate correctly, protect optionality, and keep leadership from becoming more exposed? In those rooms, elegance is useful. Steadiness is expensive. From management's perspective, the logic is simple. In routine conditions, many capable employees can generate acceptable output. In fragile conditions, the cost of misjudging people rises sharply. A weak read can create legal exposure, customer loss, internal blame chains, media risk, or executive embarrassment. That means decision-makers become much more conservative about whom they trust when the environment tightens. They stop buying presentation quality alone. They start buying consequence-bearing judgment under pressure. This is why pressure-tested trust becomes a real corporate currency. It changes staffing before it changes titles. Some people keep getting pulled into sensitive calls, ambiguous work streams, messy internal disputes, regulatory interpretation, or politically delicate escalations. Others remain strong performers and still do not get invited. From the outside, that can look vague or political. Sometimes it is. But often the company is responding to an observed pattern. Who stabilizes costly situations without making them more expensive? The cost bearer in this shift is the output-strong professional whose reputation was built in stable lanes. That person can look excellent for years. They produce high-quality work, maintain strong relationships, and are often well-liked by managers. But when the enterprise starts concentrating trust around downside management, their profile can reveal a gap. They are proven in execution, but unproven in consequence. And that gap usually shows up late, after a career has already been built around being seen as high-performing. This is also why some promotion outcomes feel mysterious to peers. Two professionals can have similar resumes, similar technical skill, and similar output quality. Yet one has already been tested in moments where the firm could actually get hurt, and the other has not. After that divide opens, the downstream effects compound. One person gets harder assignments, access to sensitive information, stronger sponsorship, and greater weight in ambiguous situations. The other remains respected, but becomes easier to benchmark against a broad market of competent performers. A lot of workers respond to this the wrong way. They assume the solution is more executive presence, more polish, or better personal branding. Those can help at the margin, but they do not substitute for evidence. Pressure-tested trust is rarely self-claimed successfully. It is usually granted after decision-makers have watched you handle uncertainty without panic, ego noise, blame theater, or premature certainty. In other words, the premium is not what you say about your judgment, it is what leaders have already risked you on. There is a psychological reason this premium persists. Under pressure, leaders are not looking for the most impressive person. They are looking for the person least likely to widen the blast radius. That means someone who can read incomplete facts, avoid theatrical escalation, and move the issue forward without creating more instability. Safety, in corporate terms, is often priced more aggressively than brilliance because safety preserves the careers of people already carrying visible exposure. One useful way to read your position is to examine what kind of problems find you. Are you mostly trusted with work inside stable workflows? Or are you increasingly brought in when the facts are thin, the politics are delicate, and the consequences matter? The first profile can support a good job. The second profile tends to build bargaining power faster because it signals that the company has started to associate you with control in costly moments. This does not mean every professional should seek chaos or manufacture drama. The point is narrower and more strategic. You need exposure to consequence because that is where trust gets repriced. That might come through a failed launch, an audit issue, a client rupture, an operational breakdown, an internal investigation, or a decision path where policy and commercial reality do not align neatly. In those conditions, the enterprise discovers whether your calm is cosmetic or structural. It also means many polished careers are more exposed than they appear. If your value rests mainly on artifact quality, diligence, and strong communication, you may be admired without being trusted in fragile situations. That can create a ceiling. The company will keep valuing your output, but the highest access, highest trust opportunities may keep going elsewhere. Plenty of people can execute inside a stable system. Far fewer can reduce uncertainty when the system is under strain. So the corporate premium is not intelligence, visibility, or stylistic seniority. It is being trusted when the enterprise cannot afford the wrong read. In normal conditions, many professionals look interchangeable. Under pressure, the market inside the firm becomes much narrower. That is where trust, access, compensation, and internal leverage begin to converge. And for a growing share of six-figure careers, that convergence is becoming the dividing line between being admired for your output and being trusted with consequence.